We started this trip with 2 kids, 4 suitcases, and a whole lot of excitement. Chongqing, my husband's hometown, a place I've been there to once over a decade ago, and now we were finally here as a family. The very first thing we did in Chongqing, take the subway. But this isn't just any subway, it's like a ride and a tour combined. One minute you are underground, the next you are crossing a bridge with an amazing view of the Jialing River. The Jialing River is one of the 2 main rivers in Chongqing, winding its way through the city's mountains and merging with the Yangtze at Qiao. Its greenish-blue color is so striking, and it's surrounded by dramatic hills and countless bridges that connect the city's unique terrain. Fun fact, Chongqing is known as the city of bridges, and you can really see why. When you look down at the river, it's like every crossing tells a different story. And then there is the Liziba station. This is where the train goes straight through a residential building, like literally through it. The kids were like, wait, people live here? Right above the train? And honestly, I was just as amazed. It's one of those things that you see on social media and think, no way, that can't be real. But it is, and it's awesome. Our next stop was Guanyin Food Street, one of the busiest and most famous food streets in Chongqing. And trust me, it did not disappoint. The moment we stepped into Area B, we were hit with the incredible smell of grilled skewers, sizzling hotpots, and all kinds of spicy, smoky goodness. Guanyin Qiao is like a mini showcase of Chongqing's street food culture. Everything here revolves around both flavors, spicy, savory, and sometimes surprisingly sweet. It's not just the food, it's an experience. The kids were amazed by how lively it was. Every corner had something to try, and they were pulling us in different directions. Mom, can we try this? What about that? But here's the fact about Chongqing food. It's spicy, like really spicy. The tofu, spicy. The meat, spicy. Even the potatoes, yep, spicy. We started with some spicy skewers. Then we moved on to fried potatoes, which, by the way, were also very spicy. The next day was just the 2 of us. Our very first stop was Ziwei Road, which is also called Ziwei Lu. Ziwei Lu felt like a breath of fresh air, a quiet place from the busy city. The tree-lined streets, cozy cafes, and little shops give it this artsy, almost European vibe. What made it even more interesting were the variety of stores here. Some were classic and full of traditional Chinese charm.
请问这些怕热吗？哇，这个好好吃。
Walking down the street, it felt like a little slice of a global village, right in the middle of Chongqing. Every corner had its own personality, and it was so fun to see how it all came together in such a unique way.
这个店好好看啊！这里是啥？
Next, we headed to Bei Cang, a creative hub that's become one of the coolest spots in Chongqing. This area was originally an old industrial zone, but in recent years it's been transformed into a cultural and artistic hotspot. Despite the heat, Bei Cang was totally worth it. Walking through here reminded me of 798 Art District in Beijing, which I visited years ago. There is something similar about the vibe, the mix of modern, independent art, and this youthful creative energy. Everywhere you look, there is something interesting to see. Whether it's a quirky sculpture, a beautifully designed cafe, or a store that feels like a little piece of someone's
这家店
imagination.
面包店也挺好看。我要放大，放大看一下。
那不是3层0星下都京城5吗？
This area has really become a favorite for young people. And it's easy to see why. The whole space feels alive. With its graffiti-covered walls, trendy coffee shops, and pop-up markets. It's the kind of place where you could easily spend hours just wandering, soaking up the atmosphere, and discovering little surprises around every corner. What I love the most about Bei Cang is how it manages to feel both modern and rooted in its industrial past. It's vibrant, artsy, and full of character, a perfect spot to experience the creative side of Chongqing. On our way to Taping Community, our next stop, we made a quick stop at one of the Chongqing's most famous noodle chains to try their signature dish, wanzamian, or noodle with peas and minced pork. It's one of the city's most iconic dishes, known for its chewy idols, savory toppings, and a flavorful broth that perfectly balances spice and richness. Each bite felt like a little bowl of heaven. It was the perfect feel before continuing our walk to Taping. After lunch, we wandered into Taping Community, which is just next door. It felt like stepping into a completely different world. The pace here was slower, the streets quieter, and everything had this beautifully unpolished charm. It felt so raw, so real, like this tiny neighborhood had frozen in time, even as the city around it changed. As we walked through Taping Community, we stumbled upon this amazing little coffee shop that was so full of Shancheng, Mountain City character. The decor was so uniquely Chinese, with the wooden furniture, traditional style fans on the tables, and even the coffee cups had the Chinese characters on them. The coffee itself, it was very, very good, smooth, aromatic, and just what we needed after walking the summer heat. Sitting here, surrounded by such a blend of old-world charm and modern comfort, it felt like the perfect spot to take a breath. Our next stop was the Shancheng Trail, or Mountain City Trail, one of the best ways to experience Chongqing's unique landscape. Stretching over 17 kilometers, it winds through the hill, offering stunning views of the Jialing River on one side and the historical buildings on the other. Along the way, you will find everything from street art and cultural exhibits to small snacks stalls selling local treats like spicy tofu skewers and freshly made 凉粉 or cold jelly noodles. If you are planning to visit, it's best to go early in the morning or late afternoon when it's cooler. And here's a tip. Start from the upper entrance and walk downhill. One of our favorite stops was this cozy little cafe that was also part bookshop. You could write a postal card to your future self and leave it there to be mailed a month, or even years later, like a little time capsule for your memories.
谢谢。
Our last stop of the day was Hongyadong, but first we had to eat. And of course, in Chongqing, it has to be Hotpot. We found a place near Hongyadong and ordered a yuanyang pot. The ingredients were incredibly fresh. The surprise star of the meal, the watermelon slush, was cold, refreshing, and exactly what we needed after walking all day in the summer heat. My husband loved and said, even though he grew up in Chongqing, this was his first time seeing Hongyadong at night. I teased him, you should thank me, the outsider, for bringing you here.